Okay, well, welcome to another episode of Murder Schmurder.
Murder Schmurder! Hey, welcome. I'm one of your hosts, Joseph.
Hey, I'm Austin.
This is Jamie.
And Grant.
We've got a couple things we got to cover today. We're led for today's episode with Austin.
That's me.
That's right. Austin's taking us through another journey.
Buckle up.
But I also have a conspiracy theory, a quick one that I want to present. And then Joseph and I have a quick question for the boys.
It's more of a question than anything.
Do you want to start with that?
I'll start with the question.
Yeah, let's start with the question.
Hold on. We might be celebrating a very special day today.
Oh my gosh. We should probably get it out of the way. It's a very special someone's birthday. Someone very near and dear to us. Someone who we all know and love. Someone who is really good at making people uncomfortable.
That's so true.
The true Italian stallion.
My dog Pack. It's his birthday.
It is Pack's birthday.
And Pack always lowers the bar, makes everyone laugh. He's a delight to be around. We all love him.
Yeah.
Oh, and happy birthday, Austin.
It's my birthday,
It's
bitches.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, my
So
guy.
you think I'm going to, if I'm just going to like lay back a little bit today, you think I'm just going to hold my tongue on certain things? You're fucking wrong. I'm going into it today, boys.
I'm going to say Austin.
And girls. Mostly girls. Mostly girls listen to the
girls.
podcast, right?
I don't know now. I haven't checked in a while.
Oh, you should check.
Is that our metrics? Mostly women?
From the people that respond the most, like and engage the most, it is women.
Interesting.
At least on the podcast. Oddly enough, though, on our Instagram, it is predominantly men that engage.
Hey,
What's up, everybody?
ladies.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, the question.
Nonetheless, yes. So you guys are all familiar. We've all played Smash Bros. Of
course.
Right?
Of course.
Hell yeah. Great game. So you know how Kirby sucks someone up, takes on a little personification of them.
One
Like
of my favorite aspects.
It's great, right? Sucks up Link. He's got a little hat and a sword.
Yep.
You know, sucks up Captain Falcon. Fucking
Just
Falcon
becomes
punch.
Fucking love a
chubby,
Falcon Punch.
adorable version
Chubby,
of that
adorable-
other character. You know
yeah.
what I mean? I love it.
Right. So here's the question: if Kirby was sucking you off, right, and you came in Kirby's mouth, would Kirby take on the characteristics of like semen, or like turn into like a little dick and balls, or would Kirby turn into a facsimile of you, the person whose cum he absorbed?
That's I think it would have to be probably cum, because I feel like he has to inhale all of you to get,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Now, we could take it a step further in this thought experiment, and maybe it becomes an amalgamation of all of the children you possibly could have had.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Dude, that
Infinite
low.
Kirby.
I like that idea.
Wow,
You know?
dude. Galaxy brain over here.
Right. There's like a serial killer one, an accountant
There's
one.
like a medieval knight.
a firefighter one.
Oh,
you
sure.
know what I mean? Just all the things that could have happened if you didn't blow your load. You know what I mean?
Leader of the free world.
Yeah.
Just countless potential.
That was a much more thoughtful
Yeah.
answer than I thought we were going to get.
That was great. I was just thinking he like turns into like cum Kirby, where like everything he touches is sticky now.
Yeah.
Just white
Just a little-
Slurpee.
Yeah. Like his balls are like his little feet, and he's just like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think we
Like he
answered
wins
that
because
question.
no one wants to touch
Yeah.
him.
I think the amalgamation. That's
it's
it.
good.
Damn, Grant.
Seriously.
Yeah, great answer. Okay,
There's also the spin on that too, where the we could take it in the direction of this being a good thought experiment for pro-life, you know, as we all are.
I'm listening. Yeah.
hey, where are you going with this?
Yeah. We're all we're very pro forced birth.
Go
very
on.
Honestly, I watched the Handmaid's Tale, and I I was like, when's it happening? I mean, come on.
It's happening
watched it
already.
It's
really good.
It's a
It's
bummer.
really good.
Honestly.
Is it a bummer?
It is a bummer.
Is that Sydney Sweeney?
No, it's the lady who kind of looks like Sydney Sweeney. She was in Mad Men, I think.
Hang on.
Mad Men, that new Invisible Man movie.
So there's
Oh yeah.
Subpar.
follow up
Yeah.
question.
That's fine. She's a great actress. So.
Grant, you ready? Follow up question.
Yeah.
Now, if Kirby is sucking you off,
Okay.
I'm thinking it can go two ways.
Right.
There's just the normal sucking off.
The Kerbussy, if you will.
Now, my favorite idea
I didn't like that.
is that my favorite idea is like, you know how like Kirby like sucks up a car and turns into the shape of the car?
Yeah.
Kirby sucks you up. He's like, you know, Grant shaped.
Okay.
And he just sucks on you like how you suck on like a warhead. like a gobstopper. Like you put it in the like bottom of your cheek and you're just getting sucked on. What's your preference here? I imagine it's really nice and warm inside of Kirby.
Hold on, so I went gobstopper. oh, so your whole body gets sucked.
Your whole
up.
body is in Kirby like a plug of chew.
Yeah.
Are you saying what's my preference on where am I placed within his mouth?
I think he's asking if you want to do that.
Or if you just want like the normal Kirby special.
Would you like Kirby to blow you give you a beeger, or would you like
Or
Kirby
I
to
travel
inhale
through
you
Kirby's body
into Kirby's
I don't know,
vacuum?
because
and
it
you're-
absolutely does come out of the back end of Kirby.
Right.
Whenever he
I
sucks
thought he
up,
spit you out as
Yeah.
a star.
Oh, man,
Does he
now-
spit you out?
I thought it went out the other way.
I don't know why my brain went to this image.
Oh, that's
of,
Yoshi. Yoshi poops
Yoshi,
you out.
Yoshi poops
lay
you out
eggs.
to
as,
egg.
as an
Yeah,
egg.
yeah.
And then Kirby
spits you out.
expels you back
and then
out. Okay.
I don't know why this image came into my head, but of Kirby like opening his mouth from behind you, wrapping around to where only your wiener's hanging out of his mouth.
slurps it up like spaghetti.
and then like and there's just like out of his mouth. It looks like a pacifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my birthday, bitches.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
If we have any talented artist listeners who want to
Draw that up.
draw
please.
that up
Oh,
for
please.
us,
Send it on over to don't email trashful@gmail.com and I will happily Venmo, Cash App, or whatever.
whatever we think it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
So
20
actually,
bucks.
a friend of mine, an artist, she worked on commissions for a little while, got into erotic drawings.
I hear
commission?
commission-based
Something
people
that she
tend
did
to get towards that.
A lot of work on was drawing perfectly spherical people in an erotic setting.
What?
Yeah, apparently
Like
that's
circle
a fetish.
people?
Yeah, like a Kirby.
Or like a Pac-Man?
Yeah, with just like little hands and feet and genitalia.
That sounds so cute. I will say.
Isn't that weird?
That sounds really
Isn't that
like
weird as shit.
That's weird as hell,
I gotta
man.
little
see
Kirby
that.
people.
I know,
Little
right?
Kirby
I gotta
people
see
banging? Yeah. Do you have a link?
Creating
I'll
more
dig
Kirby
around.
people.
I haven't. It was forever ago when this story was told.
Have
me,
you
and
talked
I was
to them
just
in a
blown
while?
away. Nah, been
You should
years.
reach out to them out of the blue and be like, "Can you send me the link for the round people fucking?" Because my friends need to know what that looks like.
It's for a podcast.
She probably would miss
Yeah.
a beat and be like, "Yeah,
It's for a podcast. She just drops her baby or whatever. Like whatever she's doing, just like does the most important thing
help
next.
is on the way, dear.
I don't even know how to Google that.
I know."
Because like I just Googled like
do not Google round people fucking.
Well, I just looked up perfectly circular sex people.
That's
And I was like,
honestly, that's probably the best Google you're gonna get.
Wait, put art at the very end of that.
Ooh.
Yes, if you put art at the end of it, it's also not weird.
I'm getting
I've used that trick a lot
I'm getting a whole
for
lot
various
of nothing.
Googles.
Whole lot of nothing. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll dig into that later.
yeah,
All right.
we'll-
What's your conspiracy theory?
okay. So
That there's not enough Kirby erotica. And they're doing it to keep us down, man.
Let's see what happens with that Google search. Kirby erotica.
R34 Kirby? That's
I mean-
probably on there.
My brain's going to somebody fucking a
no.
vacuum, but
okay, so it all starts off with what do you look up?
you find something good?
Oh my god.
Wow, I,
It's better than I thought it'd be. To be honest.
It looks like someone carved a hot dog into a sexy Kirby.
It's just
Really upsetting.
it's just sexy Majin Buu. That's all I thought.
I was thinking of a Diglett.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more Diglett, I would say.
Anyway, follow this timeline with me. Lil Wayne was caught in December 2019 with a gold-plated 45 caliber Glock and ammunition for it on his private jet. He was already a felon and caught with a gun in New York City in 2007. And through this, was now facing up to a 10-year sentence for having a firearm in his possession. 1 year later, in December 2020, he pleaded guilty for such a charge. Prior to that, he hired a guy named Bradford Cohen as his defense lawyer. Bradford Cohen is a famous American criminal defense lawyer, city litigator, or civil litigator, and legal analyst. His clients include Drake, Vanilla Ice, DeAndre Baker, Polo G, DMX.
Whoa, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Actually, he got his start in into this world by representing Vanilla Ice
Oh, hell yeah.
in
dude.
one situation.
For what? Getting sued by a goddamn Queen?
No,
For ripping off?
You would think so, but no, it was like some other situation. I think he got like into a fight with somebody.
It was probably representing him and negotiating his appearance fees for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
even more wild.
You guys remember
Go
that?
ninja, go ninja, go.
Go ninja, go ninja.
You'll
go.
love this. So apparently, at one point, what's it called? Vanilla Ice had a pet kangaroo, and it
What?
got.
We should be talking about this.
Say more now.
he had a pet kangaroo, and it got loose in Florida, and he was facing like from the state like some type of like charges, I guess, of like animal endangerment.
Vanilla Ice was a Florida man.
Yeah, I guess.
Of
he was.
course.
Yeah, he is
Tracks.
Yeah,
Real quick aside, what is with loosening wild animals into Florida? Is that all anybody goes to that state to do?
Well,
I'm
because
sick of this python.
God,
Flump.
I mean, if you're not living anywhere on the coast or near the coast of
Yeah.
Florida, I mean, fuck, the middle of Florida is a jungle.
Yeah, it is.
Whether it be fucking mouth breathing white people or the anaconda that somebody thought was a great pet.
Say, or creatures, or all creatures great and small
Right.
from around the globe.
You don't travel into Central Florida.
It's like koalas riding Galapagos tortoises with like guns that were clearly used in murders, and they're like, yeah, pull over.
Yeah. and a kangaroo in a fight with a kimono dragon. Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this. I actually met like a marine biologist that specializes in like how to handle things with invasive species, specifically in Florida because it's such a big problem. But because like so many different animals are coming in, so the way the environment works, especially with animals, is like if you get a bigger predator, normally the defense of another organism will start matching to be able to defend itself against the bigger predator. So pythons are now getting bigger, anacondas are now getting bigger, the crocodiles and alligators are now getting bigger because like the other one keeps topping the other.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get the invasive species out as best they can, as fast they can, because it becomes, like Austin said, a fucking jungle.
Well, yeah, they're all competing for niches, like ecologically speaking. So they're all just eating all this animal that like has never seen a python before, and they're like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm 8." And then like they get fat and breed more, and then they just wipe everything out. And then next thing you know, you got fucking snakes everywhere.
Yeah.
Motherfucking snakes in the motherfucking panhandle.
Okay, so back to
Sorry, go ahead.
Back to our
Just make a
conspiracy.
snakes on a plane reference.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
It's your birthday. I'm just going to use that as an excuse.
Thanks.
I love
Sucks. That's what I wanted.
So I don't know if you know this, but Bradford Cohen was also one of the leading contestants on a show called The Apprentice.
Oh.
And who was the host of The Apprentice?
You fired.
Donald Trump. Now, when Lil Wayne hired Bradford Cohen, it pretty much seemed like it was a done deal. You're a felon. You were caught red-handed with a gun at an airport.
You can't do that.
Loaded and everything.
But he was getting onto his own plane.
I mean, he owns a plane, yeah, but you can't
Well,
own a
I know. This is where I turn a little right wing and I say, if you're getting onto your own plane, you should be able to have your own gun with you.
But he's not allowed to own a gun. That's the whole thing.
He's on probation.
He's a felon.
Yeah, he's a felon.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
felons should have guns. I don't know.
You know what?
No. I'm pretty pro Second Amendment. And I don't think so.
Wow. Okay. Treading on me on his birthday. All right. Okay.
So he hires Bradford Cohen, and lo and behold, out of nowhere, Lil Wayne becomes a pro-Trump supporter. Back in October of 2020, he took to Twitter to show his support for President Donald Trump ahead of the presidential election, saying, quote, "Just had a great meeting with @RealDonaldTrump. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done. And my favorite part is shortly after this, in December of 2020, Lil Wayne pleads guilty. Everyone assumes that, he's going to be served 10 years, pretty much the maximum sentence. Mm-hmm. In January of 2021, on the last day of Trump's first term or whatever, he hands out over 100 different pardons and pardons Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne was part of it, yeah.
Now, the interesting part, this is where I'm getting conspiracy theory, because everyone kind of just says like, oh, he probably like quid pro quo kind of thing, in the sense of 100%. Like, oh, you give me support, okay, I'll
get you out of jail. Yeah.
I'll get you out of jail.
Right.
But what is interesting is that same year, Lil Wayne was now in charge of the masters, not only for all of his own music, all of Drake's music, and all of Nicki Minaj's music, and Tiger's music as well.
How'd that work out?
Because he was the president of the Young Money camp, and he's the one that signed all of those artists.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him.
So he sold all of their masters for $100 million the summer leading up to him pleading guilty. And there is no reason whatsoever that he should have done that, because he would have made more money in the long term just holding on to it or selling it back to Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So I'm thinking...
For all that, 100 mil does sound a little low.
It really is super low, considering that they probably would make like...
residuals alone.
Yeah. I'm thinking because of all the plays and how popular they are, it has to be like $5 million for each of them, because masters go for so much in the first place. Yeah. Per year. So anyway, my theory is that he sold it because he needed the money to bribe Donald Trump into getting the pardon and whatnot.
I wouldn't be surprised, because there's a lot of really good ways to bury where your money is coming from for election.
Oh yeah. You can just run it through like fucking offshore accounts. You can do, PACs alone, like super PACs alone, make it just make it legal to bribe people.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense.
And
so far, I don't see any conspiracy theory here. It sounds like Lil Wayne sold all the masters, gave Donald Trump a lot of money, and then Donald Trump pardoned him. It seems to be on par with me. Go ahead.
Quid pro quo. Lil Wayne, quid pro quo.
I'm pointing out someone doing something very illegal and it not getting caught. That's a conspiracy, is it not?
I will do Trump on my birthday. You're
right.
I was going to join in and do a Trump, and I was like, it's his birthday. I'm not going to do a Trump. I'm not going to do an inferior Trump on Austin's birthday.
I'm just saying I'm not surprised in the slightest, because he's currently has, I don't know how many criminal charges facing.
A few.
It's
more
like
than
a
few.
Yeah. And some have been postponed, some have been dropped, some he's had to pay out. So,
in fact, I'm going to read a quick article by NPR about this very same problem. So, NPR...
The whole article?
It's a quick one. It's real quick. The Justice Department is investigating a possible secret scheme involving a bribe in exchange for a presidential pardon, according to court documents unsealed today. The 18-page court opinion is heavily redacted. The names of the individuals under investigation are blacked out as the identity of the person to be pardoned under the alleged plan. Still, the filings provide a glimpse into what investigators are probing. The federal court order, blah, 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 blah. A Justice Department official speaking on the condition of anonymity said no government official was or is currently a subject or target of investigation disclosed in this filing. The fight over communications revolved around whether the emails were covered by attorney-client privilege, which would shield them from the government. Chief Judge Howell ultimately found that the emails were not privileged materials because of each of the emails in question was sent to an individual who is not a lawyer. The attorney-client privilege applies only when the participants in the communication are the client and the client's attorney, who is a member of the bar. The decision means prosecutors can use the materials to confront the subjects of the investigation, and this is the best part. God, I love Donald Trump tweeting is top tier. In a tweet Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, in dealing with the matter, simply said, pardon investigation is fake news.
Grant looks like a kid who dropped his ice cream cone.
It's just it just all came crashing back to me that we're about to have to deal with this bullshit again, at least until November.
Dude, can you even imagine what the
Let's
presidential
fucking ride,
debates are
boys.
going to look like? That
I
fucking
can't wait for the tweets, man.
that fucking just like demented, and I mean dementia-addled mummy, segregationist piece of shit is going to get torn apart by a much more aggressive, louder piece of shit in front of everybody. And it's going to be sad, and it's going to be really funny. It's going to make me want to blow up a fucking government building.
Yeah. On that note, we all need to start making plans on where we're going to move.
Apparently, Canada, like post Donald Trump's election, made it very difficult, or more difficult,
it's very
to
hard.
plead asylum ever since the election.
Plus, I don't want to go live under Trudeau's neoliberal bullshit either.
Fine, you want to go to Mexico?
Why not?
I was thinking we could go south and kind of just hide on a beach. You know what I mean? Like it's really, I don't think.
Why don't we go to
government
Central or South
oversight's all
America?
that big.
If we're going to
Dude,
go central,
Dude,
go
Paraguay
somewhere-
would be kind of cool.
Paraguay, isn't that? Yeah, because there's Paraguay and there's Uruguay, and one of them's like where they pay for like transitions, they pay for college, they pay for all this stuff. Like they're very, very left wing.
Brazil
And
would be kind of cool too.
It's kind of amazing they haven't been toppled
Yeah.
by the CIA yet.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weren't they toppled? I think, what was it, in the 60s?
Probably go to Ireland.
I'm sure they
or
were
something.
one
I
of
think,
them.
I think one of
I
them
think it's something
was.
similar.
I think that's why
Go to
the
one
other
of
one
those,
is
like,
like super right wing and one of them is like super
Scandinavian
left.
areas.
Yeah.
Where
Because
you
one of
pay
them
a lot
got
of
toppled.
taxes, but
Yeah.
your quality of life's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, Ireland, Scotland would
Ireland?
be cool.
Yeah.
My people are there.
Yeah, same.
Fuck.
We'd fit right in.
Yeah, we would.
Fucking Scots. Anyway,
Hello. That's bad. That's bad. We should
I
cut
felt
that.
more Japanese
That
than
was
anything.
really bad. I haven't tried Irish in a while. Okay, I'm not the voice guy.
Whenever I try to do,
Konnichiwa.
whenever I try
Welcome
to, do
to
a-
Belfast.
Whenever I try to go into a Scottish accent, I always have to say "great googly moogly" first.
Yeah, you got to
Like-
get your catchphrase.
Yeah, it's like a wind up.
Yeah, it's your lock in.
Great googly moogly.
And now you're ready to go.
Then I'm ready to go. Hey, you have to go to Hawaii. Oh my God! This last fucking football season, Tua Tagovailoa, he had. Well, no, it was the
Nailed it,
year
by the
before. He had 3 concussions in 1 year, right? And we
Jesus
we had
Christ.
and they just made him play again. They're like, all
well,
right.
I mean, like he passed the protocols and stuff. Like,
Oh, well, if he passed the protocol.
What's today? Monday? Yeah, Monday. Okay, he's good.
he played last year. and
How
was
many fingers?
fantastic.
Close enough. Get out there.
But we had a really fucked up joke at Brewhouse that he got hit in the head so hard that he developed what's that, accent syndrome, where like some people with head traumas
they just shift into a different
yeah,
accent.
and they'll never have been there before. Like, so we thought it'd be funny if Scottish Tua Tagovailoa. My name's Tua Tagovailoa. Let's go back to my place for a luau.
Oh, I can't do it.
It's hard.
is
Scottish is
I
hard.
throw the football left-handed. Isn't that weird? Go long. God damn it! I'm so glad that Scottish Tua Tagovailoa is out there.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
good. Yeah,
It's so
that's worth
fucked up.
remembering.
If at any point in this life that you owe Tua Tagovailoa listen to this, I just know I love you, and I wish you nothing but the success.
Yeah, he's got a shrine of you in his room.
Buddy, I fucking
It's right next to the Dan Marino shrine.
I got a whole ritual before Sunday. I do, absolutely. I have a whole playlist of songs, like
Playlist.
Miami
Hell
Dolphin
yeah.
songs that
Dude,
like
ritualize
Yeah.
your interests.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, dude. Come on.
Uh-huh. Like I'll put on some like meditation and like where like they make you breathe. I'm like
Transcendental meditation, and he's your special friend. Oh no, we know we lost your power now
Yeah.
because we can't know it.
I channel you to I channel you.
All right. Speaking of channeling,
Speaking of channeling, so I've got some pretty cool news.
Fuck yeah.
I'm no longer a bartender at, now that I'm not there anymore, can tell you, Skull's Rainbow Room. And and I've decided to do a little tribute to that fucking place with the story of the murder of the original owner of Skull's Rainbow Room,
Nice.
David Shulman.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And before we get started, I just want to say that this is the actual story of David Shulman, not the story that you're going to get from your fucking ghost tour manager or whatever.
Forget what you've heard. This is the real shit.
This is the real story. We'll get into those fuckers later.
Do you have to make it sound like this is the story they don't want you to know?
I mean, it is.
It is, apparently.
You know why? It's because it's the actual story of what actually happened, not the zhuzhed up version.
Would he just jack off himself to death?
Dude, he just
he shot himself to death with his sperm.
Yeah. You're just bullshitting your entire story when you walk in. Like, he'll come to like a certain part. I can't tell that. It's later in the story.
Let's jump
All
in.
right, let's do it.
Anyways, in honor of my recent resignation from Skull's Rainbow Room, as a show of good faith, I have decided to give the once and for all actual story of the murder of David Skull Shulman. This one goes out to the Bobs and Barbs of Ohio, the Kens and Cairns of Connecticut, the ghost tour guides who incessantly barged into the restaurant before opening like they owned the place, and all the dusty old tourists who fall in between. The day is January 21st, 1998. Dorothy Best, a taxi driver, drops off David Shulman at the then called Rainbow Room before opening for the evening. Shulman's usual custom was to sit at the end of the bar and read his newspaper until the bar opened. A few minutes later, Joe Reno, who worked at the bar next door, popped in for a visit and left around 5 o'clock. Shulman was a very familiar figure in downtown Nashville. I mean, you would be too if you had a fixture in Printer's Alley for over 50 years. In fact, through the years, the Rainbow Room was frequented by many famous names. You got Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Etta James, Patsy Cline, Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, and even Andy Griffith, who just happened to be the house comedian at Skull's Rainbow Room at one point.
No kidding.
Cool.
And let's see, Jimi Hendrix, he played there while he was stationed at Fort Campbell. Griffith was the house comedian. Paul McCartney had come to Nashville to record the record Junior's Farm with Wings. And
Nice.
he would write about songs, and he would write songs in the Rainbow Room. And he also took a shine to a stage girl named Diane Gaffney. He even wrote a song about her and named it Diane G. As you can imagine, this upset Paul's wife, Linda. And Linda made him change the name to the song Sally G. If you've ever heard that song.
I have
Oh.
heard
Yeah,
that song.
it can be
Very
found
cool.
on the B side of the Junior's Farm record. Johnny Cash was
How do you explain that to your wife?
yeah, right. There was this girl.
She was amazing.
She was so cool. We did not bang.
I did write a song about her, and I want you to be
and
cool
I named
about
it
it.
after her. You don't have any songs named after me. Yeah, but
Listen, Sally G Spot and me went way back. Okay.
You can't name it Diane. Name it Sally. All right, fine.
I'm from Liverpool.
I'm from Liverpool. Imagine. That's one of my favorite parts of that fucking movie. Imagine. Johnny Cash was a personal friend of Shulman, and while filming the Johnny Cash show, would bring whoever had been on the show with him to play at the Rainbow Room. One night, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and Joni Mitchell were all on the same stage together.
Damn.
So this guy was very well known, right? Also, I wanted to mention that. Do you remember the show Hee Haw? Back in the day, really old
I
show.
don't like that you looked at me when you said hee haw. Like,
Joseph, you know,
yeah, you know, your people.
It was his favorite show, and those guys would come in. He had like Hee Haw themed
The
parties.
hee haw gang coming into your bar, it
Yeah.
must have been fun.
And he would actually be like a guest. Like he would make guest appearances on the show Hee Haw, like whether it be somebody like in the background or something.
Yeah.
Like he was like an extra for them for more than a few occasions.
That's fun.
Also, speaking of,
And this guy knew everybody.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Elvis even gifted him a couple of poodles at one point.
Poodles
Yeah, and he
from
was-
Elvis?
Yeah, this guy was known to walk around with his 3 poodles, and I think 1 or 2 of them were gifted to him by Elvis.
Awesome.
Yeah, he would like.
Man,
he
I
had-
would never shut up about that.
Yeah. Like you see this
Oh,
poodle?
nice dogs. Thanks for Elvis's.
apparently like he would also have like those dyed poodles, like he would dye them like pink or like
Oh my
blue,
gosh.
right?
Why not?
This guy was a bit of a eccentric. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe.
But anyways, back to the murder. Now, Shulman was also known for his generosity, and especially to the homeless who were in the downtown area. He would provide them with cash or even odd jobs from time to time. And he was also known to carry change for the bar in his front pocket in his famous bib overalls. He was always wearing these overalls. Like that
This
was
guy
his,
sounds awesome.
this was his thing.
I'm waiting for the turn.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
you say that.
Hold on.
You say
That's why I
that.
said sounds
This
awesome.
this is a story while I was working there that I've heard about good old Shulman. He certainly was not a saint. The story goes, one day a couple of Japanese tourists asked him for directions, and he responded with, "Well, you sure found Pearl Harbor, didn't you?"
Whoa. Oh my God. Who is this guy? My dad? Who's weirdly still pissed off about Pearl Harbor, even though it was like 30 years before he was born.
I mean, like the guy owned the place from 1948. You
But
know, like,
still, I
he
mean,
saw it.
he's- Oof.
But yeah. So, anyways, around 6 p.m., William Jones, a cigarette vendor who serviced the bar in Printer's Alley, made a routine stop at the Rainbow Room. And when he walked in, he noticed that Shulman was not at his usual spot at the bar reading his newspaper. He walks down the bar to find Shulman lying on the floor with his hands around his throat. Jones tells Shulman to hang on and ran down the alley to find help. The paramedics were called, and Shulman was transported to the hospital, and he died the next morning.
Ooh.
Oh, I always thought he died at the bar. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The police processed the crime scene and found very little information on how and why the victim was attacked. Shocker. More so, the premises had been disturbed by the paramedics moving some of the bar stools and knocking pictures off the wall as they carried Shulman out of the building, which this was weird to me because looking in that place, like working in that place, there's a whole wall of pictures and stuff, right? And then there's the bar. Granted, maybe like it was, I think it was remodeled since this whole thing, but like to knock down pictures, like there's a giant like stone wall,
Yeah, I know. I was
like
thinking about that too.
that's bare.
Right.
I'm like, what pictures are you knocking down while trying to pull the guy from the bar area? But
Right.
again, it was a long time ago.
Could have been set up differently.
Right. So they knocked pictures off the wall as they carried Shulman out of the building. Only 17 fingerprints were found, none of which
In a
matched.
bar?
Yeah.
That seems really low for a bar.
Right.
It'd be like thousands of them,
Right. You would think,
right?
like, what's this hands and knees print over here?
Yeah.
But none of the fingerprints ultimately matched the men. None of the fingerprints matched the men who were ultimately arrested. There were also blood samples found on the towels in the women's restroom, which was later determined to belong to Shulman. And neither the liquor bottles or the cash register were checked for prints during the investigation. And at the conclusion, no physical evidence was discovered that pointed to a suspect. You know, you're investigating at that point, potential murder
In a bar.
in a bar.
And you don't check the cash register?
Maybe it's a robbery. You don't check the cash register
Yeah.
and you don't check the bottles.
Those are like the first two things I would check. I mean, I'm not a
Yeah,
cop, thank
seriously.
God, but like that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah,
This was before Detective Austin was on the case.
right.
So what year was this?
This is
1998?
98. Yeah,
Damn.
I was 3 years old.
I was 5.
I was 8, but now I'm trying to think of
I was
like
still in Florida.
so like his
Sorry.
buddy comes in. His buddy comes in and it's basically like he sees with like his Shulman with his hands around his throat,
Yeah, he's
like choking.
He's bleeding from his throat.
he's
Oh, he's
well. I'll get more into it, but yeah, he's
Okay.
bleeding from his throat.
oh, okay.
Yeah. show, Dr. John Gerber, the assistant medical examiner who performed the autopsy, testified that the cause of death was multiple incised wounds to the neck and a blunt force injury to the head. Although Shulman lost a significant amount of blood, the knife wounds were found to be superficial, and standing alone would not have killed the victim unless he had gone without medical attention for an extended period of time. In addition to the knife wounds, however, Shulman had suffered a subgaleal
sounds right.
Is that right?
Can I look at it?
Subgaleal.
Sounds right.
Yep, subgaleal hemorrhage to the left side of his head caused by a blow from a blunt instrument. At the time he was cut, Shulman could have yelled for help since the cuts did not impact the vocal cords. Dr. Gerther was not able to ascertain which injuries were inflicted first, but did mention that the knife wounds were consistent with the perpetrator standing behind the victim.
Oh, so knife. He's all like, and it's like, oh, it didn't work. Bang. Okay.
Probably, yeah.
I would think.
I'm thinking it's not a knife. I'm thinking it's like some other object, maybe like a pen or something. Because if it was a knife, I feel like
Ice pick?
Something. Just like
Maybe.
I feel like a knife would do the job.
But
Like a knife going inside your neck.
Could have been a small knife.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're trying
I don't know.
Goddamn pocket knife. So what are you good for?
if you're behind somebody, I mean, I imagine that you're like holding the knife up to
Was
to
it
his
on the
neck.
back or the front?
I think it's on the front.
On the front.
Yeah,
Oh, so
'cause
he
it didn't affect the vocal cords.
Yeah.
And I would assume that since it didn't affect the vocal cords, I would say it was going more across rather than in. Which, if you're trying to kill somebody, wouldn't you just stick it in?
I think if you're going to kill someone and you're behind them, you want to go base of the neck, spinal cord is
Jesus
the best.
Christ,
What?
Joseph? Fucking Game of Thrones.
You asked.
What would hurt the most? While
It
they
wouldn't
die?
hurt the most if you get it in there the right way. It's ragdoll, instant.
It's true.
I've heard. I've been told
In my research.
in my research.
But also, Dr. Gerber was also unable to specify what type of knife was used or what instrument caused the skull fracture. He says, "I ain't no forensic scientist."
That's the guy doing the autopsy.
Wow.
I don't know what you want me to say.
No. I added that part.
Oh, it's like, is that on the record?
I wish.
And then his doctor said, "Well, I'm no doctor."
I mean, I'm totally a doctor.
And then
Nashville was a different town back then.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
I like the idea of like that Jack Nicholson movie where it's like, forget it, Jake. It's Nashville.
During the early stages of the investigation, several suspects were identified, but not all were investigated. Again, shocker.
What was going on here?
After a few months, the case was reenacted on the television show America's Most Wanted in order to generate new leads. Following the first episode, Detective Al Gray, which you can actually find this episode on YouTube.
I'm going to watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, seriously.
But following the first episode, Detective Al Gray testifies that he had received a call from Beverly Sumner, a bartender at Legends Corner in Nashville. She reported that she had seen James Cavalier and Jason Pence soon after the murder and had a hunch that they may have been involved because Pence had attempted to change his appearance and Cavalier was limping. Keep in mind that Nashville was a much smaller place and not nearly as crowded in these times. So she probably had no problem recognizing these two, especially if they were homeless. After receiving Sumner's advice, Detective Gray located Pence at the downtown library, where Pence confirmed that he knew Cavalier, but said he did not know he said he did not know Shulman and had never been to the Rainbow Room. He also admitted to changing his appearance. By shaving and cutting his hair. While working on another homicide, Detective Gray ran into Pence once again at a hotel on Dickerson Road, which I think we all know the one.
Yep.
Dude, I work near Dickerson.
Yep.
It's a shithole then. It's a shithole now.
Yeah. Once again at the hotel on Dickerson Road, and Pence asked him if he had found Cavalier.
They have color TVs.
now.
They sure do. That same sign.
I know. I love that sign so much.
I actually like driving by that motel and just like listening to the ghost scream as I drive by.
Oh, man.
Burn it down.
They're still fucking in here. Sorry. Once
Hang
again,
on. Real quick, did he just interview the guy and the guy basically just said like, nah, I didn't do it. And that's it?
yeah. It's what
They were like, good enough for me.
that's what it sounds
Were
like.
you there? Nope. Did you know the guy?
he's-
Nope.
No, he's like, yeah,
Did you
no.
also shave and cut your hair? Yes.
Yeah, it's like he's like, I knew Cavalier, but I don't know Shulman.
Never-
And I certainly
never
never been to
heard
No
of him.
Rainbow Room.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of this apparently very famous
Yeah,
bar.
that's what I'm thinking.
In a much smaller town.
Right.
Did you meet Elvis Presley? Yeah. In downtown, actually. At Rainbow Room? I'd never heard of that.
Never.
No.
Well, didn't he and Johnny Cash go there after that show? I couldn't tell you.
Good
Don't
tell
know.
you.
Yeah. I did shave my head though.
And I do have a Greyhound ticket sticking out of my pocket.
So so Detective Gray runs into Pence at the hotel on Dickerson Road, and Pence asked him if he had found Cavalier. A week later, Detective Gray interviewed Pence as a follow-up, but received no new information other than the fact that Cavalier sometimes stayed at the Union Mission in Nashville, since both he and Cavalier were homeless at the time. Detective Gray contacted the mission and received Cavalier's mother's number, who lived in Oregon. She then told Detective Gray that her son had been in Oregon, but was now in Florida. And she also confirmed that while visiting her in Oregon, Cavalier had a limp, and that this visit was after the killing. So she was like, yeah, I saw my son, and for some reason he was limping.
It'd be your own people.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
It's now November 1999, and a new detective, Detective Bernard, is assigned as a lead detective on the case. Up until now, the police were still operating under the assumption that Shulman had died from the knife wounds. Detective Bernard then learned that the cause of death was a head injury.
Wow.
So this is the best. It's not the best. It's terrible. But like, you have the doctor who does the autopsy. He says, yeah, he was stabbed in the neck, but definitely something beat him over the head. That's what killed him. And then the police, from the time that they said the cause of death, were operating under the assumption that he died of the neck wounds.
Wow.
That were
The complete opposite.
the complete opposite, that were said to be superficial. And if he wasn't hit over the head, he probably would have survived.
Okay.
Keep in mind, this Shulman's like 80 something years old
Oh my God.
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he would be.
Yeah. He's an old man. You know, you hit an old man over the side of the head.
Yeah.
He gonna die.
Yeah.
Um,
Pro tip.
So they were still operating under the assumption that he died of the knife wounds, and then Detective Bernard learned that the cause of death was a head injury. And by that time, though, the crime scene had been dismantled. Detective Bernard received new information from another Nashvilleian, Jules Tabor, who had seen Cavalier with blood on his clothes the night of the murder.
Yeah, he was holding a bloody brick the whole day.
He's kept walking around this brick. What's that? A brick.
No, what's on the brick? Ketchup. I was going to eat it later.
No, I wasn't. Just chucks it and runs away.
And so he saw Cavalier with blood on his clothes the night of the murder. And based on this and notes from Detective Gray's investigation, Bernard began searching for Pence, who was finally located in a mental health facility in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln. Okay.
I wrote in my notes here, I said, I don't know why, but I imagined Bernard interrogating Pence in the Nebraskan mental facility by forcing spoonfuls of corn into Pence's mouth. Please, God, no.
I don't want it anymore. Do you want it creamed?
Please, God, no.
I did it.
Corn munching noises. Please. Fine, I'll tell you.
Spits out the cob.
During the first interview, Pence stated that he had seen Cavalier on the morning after the murder with blood on his clothes. Pence was told by Cavalier that he had been in a fight while he was working as a bouncer at the Turf, another Nashville bar. Pence said that he and Cavalier went to the Legends Corner that morning, where Cavalier cleaned up. Afterwards, as they drank coffee, Pence stated that Cavalier admitted that he had killed the victim.
Open and shut.
Detective Bernard then returns to Nashville and interviews Don Link, a manager of a restaurant on 4th Avenue, who had previously reported seeing two men in the parking lot near the Rainbow Room on the afternoon of the murder. Which, this is sometime after the initial investigation where all this new stuff is popping up. Like,
Right.
You would think that maybe you would speak up around then. Granted, Nashville was a different time. In the 1990s. Or, yes, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Where was I? So Don Link, manager of 4th Avenue, had previously reported seeing two men in the parking lot near the Rainbow Room on the afternoon of the murder. And Mr. Link identified Pence from a photo lineup as one of the men that he had seen, which we all love those photo lineups because they're so accurate.
Yep. Always good to be in one. Always good to see him.
Right.
Love it. No complaints.
During a second interview, Pence admitted that he had actually been involved in the robbery and knew Shulman after working for him in 1996, and that he and Cavalier planned the robbery in the parking garage across from the Rainbow Room. However, Pence said Cavalier went into the bar alone while he stayed out in front as a lookout. Pence then says that he heard the sounds of a struggle but did not witness the confrontation. Pence was then arrested and transported back to Nashville. So this was in Nebraska. He was given this in his interview. On February 9th, 2000, Pence changes his story yet again and finally admits to being present when Cavalier attacked and robbed Shulman. Detective Bernard then finds out that from Cavalier's father that Cavalier is in San Francisco. San Francisco police find Cavalier, apprehended him, and Detective Bernard then travels to San Fran to interview. Following the initial meeting, Detective Bernard returned to Nashville, and Mr. Link then identifies Cavalier as a second man he saw in the parking lot outside of the Rainbow Room. Cavalier was then arrested and returned to Nashville for trial. At trial, Pence testified that the following events occurred in connection with the victim's murder. Prior to the murder, Pence knew the victim because he used to clean the bathrooms in 1996. 5 or 6 days before the murder, both he and the defendant, Cavalier, decided to rob someone because they were tired of being homeless.
All right.
This sucks. Pence testified that it was his idea to rob Shulman because he knew that Shulman usually carried cash in his bib overalls. In fact, he was known to carry like hundreds of dollars in his overalls just for change for the bar, right? And on the day of the murder, Cavalier and Pence met around 5 p.m. to discuss the robbery in the parking lot from across the Rainbow Room. Cavalier told Pence that he would beat the victim up if he did not give the money, and then the two left the garage and went to the Rainbow Room. Pence then stands by the door as a lookout because he was afraid that Shulman would recognize him, but then leaves his post because he wanted to see what Cavalier was going to do. Cavalier then asked Shulman for the money. Shulman refused. Cavalier then punches Shulman in the face twice, and then 3 or 4 times in the stomach. And might I add, again, that Shulman is like 80 years old and is getting punched in the face. He's like, nah. like what a badass.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
I lived a good life. Go ahead.
Fuck you.
Right. What are you going to do? Kill me? Do it.
I've been waiting for this day.
I'm 80 years old. Here I come, Valhalla.
This knocks Shulman off of his bar stool onto the floor, and as he tried to get up, Cavalier pulls his head back and puts a knife up against his throat. Cavalier asked for the money again, and when Shulman refused again, he cut his throat 3 times and let him go. Cavalier then takes the money from the front pocket of his overalls and runs to the bathroom to wash the blood from his hands. Shulman then cries out for help, and Cavalier tells Pence to shut him up. And when Pence refused, Cavier hit the victim over the head with a liquor bottle and placed the bottle back behind the bar. Allegedly, it was a Jack Daniels bottle.
Oh, damn.
That they didn't check.
Yeah, that they didn't check. Right.
It's probably still bloody.
Well, he put it back behind the bar. Like, they'll never know.
Yeah. Cut to
Yeah.
a bartender later that night be like, oh, gross. And
Gross.
just wipes it off real quick. He said you wanted 3 doubles? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, they're like in the weeds, like just like I don't even care right now. Just like wipe.
Sir, there's hair in my Jack and Coke.
Fine, I'll make you another one. Don't try that shit again.
Oh, man. And so they hit him over the head, and then Shulman remained quiet after that. Cavier then takes some money from the register and closed the drawer. They both left and agreed to meet up later that night to split the cash.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah. They actually do meet up around 8:30 later that night at the turf. Cavier had blood on his jeans and was limping. He then gives Pence $5 of the $45 taken from Shulman, saying that Pence had not acted as the lookout as he had had not acted as a lookout as like he was supposed to do, and the two separated after midnight. So
Also,
like,
$45.
yeah, they got $45 from this man.
Jesus.
Yeah. The next morning, they met back for breakfast at the Mission and later went to Legends Corner so that Cavier could wash up.
Hang on, real quick. Why didn't they just steal a bottle of liquor?
Yeah.
Like, why put back the bottle of Jack? Like, you already hit him with it.
And you can
You
drink
already-
it.
Yeah, you already took the cash. Like, at least get something nice.
I don't know. I think if there was something missing, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to like kind of leave it the way that it was.
The body won't alert them that something went
I
wrong.
don't know. I mean, these are criminals, man. They're not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, the Buffalo Trace is still here, so everything's fine. Hey, Shulman, get up.
Well, I mean, think about it this way too. Like, had they have taken the liquor bottle, I mean, maybe then they would have investigated the fucking liquor bottles.
That's true.
Because like they put it back and it was like, well, doesn't seem disturbed over here.
Okay, so I used to work at this bar called Clyde's, and I remember like I came into work and someone had broken into Clyde's, and like, you know, we had a safe and they couldn't get in, but they stole liquor from us. But they didn't steal anything high end. They stole all the well liquor bottles.
So you're like,
They didn't eat like well liquors. Like, this is like shit like Aristocrat. This is stuff like
Right.
that shouldn't even be sold to people.
What's that really shitty rum? It's like El Capitan or something.
No, it's
Or is that tequila?
You're thinking of the tequila. There's
Yeah.
Admiral Nelson, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
It's bad.
it just gives you heartburn hearing
Yeah.
it. Like, ugh.
It's really fucking.
Imagine what Admiral Nelson actually looks like. It's just like
You got Captain Morgan?
Right.
We got Admiral Nelson.
right. I just imagine some like 5'8" like short guy with an oversized navy jacket and with a giant mustache, and he's like sweating, but
All the time.
all the time. It's like 50 degrees out, but he's still like got the meat sweats or something.
How do we wear all these layers?
Yeah, that's Admiral Nelson for you. So they meet up at the turf. Cavier had blood on his jeans and limping and gave $5.
We're rich. $45.
To separate
Rich.
at midnight. And then they went to Legends, so Cavier could wash up. Think about this. The whole time, you know, Cavier is just running around Nashville with blood on his jeans.
Yeah.
Like blood-stained pants. Like,
It was a different time.
you cut somebody from the neck, like, you bleed a lot from the
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
A lot from the neck. Anyway, so 2 days later was the last time Pence saw Cavier. It was during a vigil that was held for David Shulman in Printer's Alley.
And they went?
They went to the fucking vigil.
No class.
And while they were there, Pence says that Cavier apparently knelt down, made the sign of a cross, and sang Amazing Grace.
Wow.
Off key the whole time.
Fuck that.
Pence received 15 to 25 years for facilitating murder, and Cavier was sentenced for life.
Wow.
That's the end of the murder portion of this podcast. And now we're going to get into The Haunting of Skull's Rainbow.
The
Room.
Oh, time for the schmurder.
Here we go. Nashville was truly shaken by the mayor of Printers Alley's death. But did he really die that day? As he famously quoted, "The alley will always be here, I expect, and I'll stay with it." It's an actual quote that you could find at the bottom of
What a creepy old man thing to say.
Right.
I hope he said it in the dark. standing in
all
the
the time.
alley.
Like, how you doing there, Steve? I'll always be here in the shadows.
Okay, that's great. Well, I gotta go. Fucking weirdo.
Right. And now Ghost Tour guides, this is where I'm coming after you and your fucking bullshit.
You're fucking racket.
You're fucking
$100 ghost tour.
fucking bullshit. The Rainbow Room, now known as Skull's Rainbow Room, to pay homage to him, is essentially a basement, but it feels more like a dungeon, right? Its walls are 2 feet thick with solid stone. And as described by its later proprietor, David Wildman, also known as the best boss I've ever had, during renovations, there was no air conditioning. And we now all know how fucking hot it gets here in Nashville. And like, even if it's 80 degrees with the humidity, it's like 100 sometimes. It's bad. And so sometimes it'd be well above 90 degrees while he's doing these renovations. Or at least, like it feels like that with the humidity. But at the Rainbow Room, as temperatures would rise outside, the temperatures inside would plummet, which is what we all fellow followers of the Freaky know. Cold spots, by the way, I really love that line. Fellow followers of the Freaky.
Yeah, love it.
Cold spots are a telltale sign of
Ghosts.
Wildman said it was as if Skull was overlooking the renovations himself. You know what's
That's
not
creepy.
You know it's not the other. You know it's not a sign of the otherworldly. You want to know it's not a sign of the otherworldly? Coming into the bar with your 10 white trash customers in the middle of July, walking them to the spot conveniently located by the air conditioning unit, then having the fucking gall to say to their mouth agape, breathing from their fucking esophagus faces, "You feel how the air drops?" Kindly go fuck yourself and get the fuck out and take your 10% tipping, basketball shorts wearing, dog face clientele with you, fuckers. God, I hated those fucking people. They would just burst in. You'd be like opening the bar. It's like 2:30. You're trying to like have a moment away from the 12 hours of people. And they just barge in here like, "I'm just going to show them around." They're like, fuck off. That's not what it's for.
Right.
It's a bar.
It's a bar. Like we
order a drink.
We open at 5.
Right.
Oh my god.
They come in before.
Yeah.
The last day, like somebody tries to walk in there. It's like 4:50. We open at 5. You're not allowed to be in there.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, "Hey, we open at 5." And there she was like, "What?" I'm like, "We open at 5." And she was like, "So I have to wait outside?" And I was like, "Yes!" On my last day.
That must have felt really good. Just so vindicating.
Oh, man. Speaking of my last day, can I tell this quick story?
You gotta make it quick.
Is it quick?
Quick.
I'm almost done here, but they do burlesque shows at Skull's Rainbow Room. And me and the girl that ran the burlesque show, Miss Delilah Ray, would have this bit where I would demonstrate tassel twirls from behind the bar. Mm-hmm. I'd usually do it with my uniform on. On the last day, we run to the back. She tapes actual tassels to my nipples, right?
Awesome.
And I hide them under my uniform.
I'm so hard right now.
And so like it comes time for the bit, and she was like, "Now this is we're gonna have Austin demonstrate," and I just like I rip out of my uniform to expose the tassels that are around my nipples, and the entire place explodes. It was fucking hilarious. And so we do the whole bit. I'm shaking my fucking titties from behind the bar without a shirt on, like I'm bare ass naked,
Right.
besides my
Yes.
pants.
Oh, okay.
His cock is out.
My cock is out.
Cock is out. No tassel on that bad boy.
I got 3 tassels.
For the titties, they call them tassels, but for your ass, assholes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But after the bit, she's like, "This is a very special night. It's Austin's last night." And everybody cheers again. And I took the fattest shot of Fernet. And I just rip it right in front of the cameras, right in front of God and everybody, and right in front of my bitch ex-girlfriend, Lily. And I'm walking down.
I love how you didn't name Shulman. The whole episode's about Shulman. Like the cameras, God, Lily, the fucking bitch.
Well, I guess, and Shulman.
Shulman, too.
And Shulman.
The mayor is there.
The mayor is there. So I take the shot and I'm walking down. The whole bar's cheering, Austin, Austin. And I see my manager.
You sure you weren't dreaming this?
This was probably one of the greatest moments of my life.
I mean, that's pretty
And I
great.
had to tell it.
Remember when Austin ripped that shot? We won the Monday Night Football.
And then Scarlett Johansson was there, and she was like, "Oh, what's this guy all about?"
I walked down to the other end of the bar, and my manager's waiting for me. He's like, you gotta go now, right? He fucking kicks me out
What?
of the bar.
Really?
For taking a shot on camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Yeah."
And I was like,
Drop the shot glass like a mic.
Literally, I was like, okay. And I walked right the fuck out. And like, I'm walking out and everybody's cheering my fucking name. It was amazing.
That's great.
Amazing.
A great part that you missed, or that you told me, was the other bartenders were pissed because they were getting their shit kicked in,
Yeah.
and now they were a bartender short.
Yeah, I was about to say. Were you supposed to close that night? 'Cause-
No, I was the opener.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So like I was probably about time to leave anyway, but what they were pissed off about was the fact that the manager did not consider them when making that decision.
Right, right.
Like they were fine. They probably, it was kind of towards the end of the show anyway. But like, yeah, like he kicked me out just to be, Mr. Boy Scout that he is.
Just had that last
Right.
little bit of power.
Right. And then you know what I find out? He left 2 weeks after. So like, what the fuck?
He wanted a grand exit like you got.
Right.
He was like, "Well, no one's gonna care when I leave."
Hang on, what's his name? Can you want to
No,
drop it?
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, let's just say.
Let's call him Doofus.
Yeah, like, he's like, and tonight's my last night, and just starts chanting for everybody.
Doofus,
Doofus. No one's cheering. Like, Doof, you guys aren't cheering.
But you liked him.
It's like the gas like falls out of him. And it's like, doof. Okay, fine. And then like there's a brief awkward silence. It's like, hey, can you help me with this over here? It's like, yeah.
Apparently, the general manager.
The toilet's clogged again. All right.
From what I gathered,
I'll get my toothbrush.
my old general manager, instead of being like pissed, was just like, I get it. Now, there are actually 2 ghost stories of the Rainbow Room. David Shulman and another named Ice Johnson, who previously owned, this guy, who previously owned the building, a thriving upscale bar called the Southern Turf. However, in 1914, the authorities forced Johnson to close shop due to Johnson also running a brothel in his establishment.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ice obliged by killing himself on the 3rd floor of the building. And
Oh,
let's
wow.
just
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Damn.
And let's just say that
If I can't have my horse, you ain't taking me alive. We didn't say you were taking you.
We're not gonna kill you.
We're not gonna arrest you. We just said you got to shut down.
Oh yeah, taking away my hookers, might as well kill me. You just pulled the trigger.
I have nothing else to live for.
That was how I got.
that's what I do. I bang whores.
I'm not gonna change, Charlie.
I feel like they just said it politely too. They're not like, "Hey, you can't do that," and if you're gonna keep doing it, we're gonna have
this
to shut
is
you down.
1914. They were not polite. Come on.
Yeah, it's probably a bunch of flat-footed, fucking mean Irish cops beating the shit out of us, dude.
Exactly. But he obliged by killing himself on the 3rd floor of the building, and let's just say that Kurt Cobain must have been a fan. Fast forward to 1948.
Rate my paint setup.
Yeah. Shulman purchases the building and opened the Rainbow Room. Every night, Skull was haunted by Ice, and while he closed. who would loudly move tables and throw chairs around. Now, I also wanted to take this moment to share some ghost stories that I've encountered. This is the last. This is the last.
Where are my whores?
Where are my whores?
What do you do for a buck?
Oh my god! We actually used to have a phone behind the bar. we thought it'd be funny to like answer the phone like, "Ooh, welcome to Skull's Rainbow Room." I would love to do on like Halloween.
No, just do it every day.
Seriously, whenever the mood strikes you.
So anyway, that's the last little bit of my ghost story and podcast. But I also wanted to share some actual things that I experienced while working there, because I was very skeptical of ghosts before working at this fucking place. This place is creepy.
Do go on.
So my first time that I really experienced anything, I was a bar back. I bar back there for like a year and a half, and before they had Sinatra in the now Southern Turf Club on the rooftop. It was like an abandoned building. It's where we would keep all of our dry storage and stuff. And so I'd have to go up there with a dolly. There was like an elevator. And during the night, there was no power. So I was just armed with a freaking flashlight.
Ugh,
right?
no.
Like all I had was like that little circle of light like you see in the movies.
Very Alan Wake.
Yeah, very. So anyway, one day before we open, I'm getting stuff. And every day prior, I'd go up there. When I'd go up there, I'd be like, "Hey, Scully, it's me." And like,
Just be a jerk. Yeah.
I'm not being a jerk. I was just like,
You announce yourself.
Right.
You know, you like you let
just
them
me
know what's going
describing
on.
some things. And then
Oh,
one
okay, I
day,
see.
I go up there. I'm like, "Hey, Scully, guess what? I don't think you exist.
Ooh.
I don't think you're here. I think it's a bunch of bullshit." And like, I had been going up and down this fucking elevator all day. And I go to use the elevator. Doesn't work. Like, broke down. And I had to carry a dolly full of shit, like up to my chin, down 4 flights of stairs. And ever since then, I was like,
Scully!
sorry.
I'm sorry!
I literally
Just going down the steps.
Yeah. No, seriously.
That sounds awful.
It was terrible. And the stairs were also used for storage. So like I'm like picking this thing like up over shit. And anyway, so man, like what I was saying. Oh, during the nighttime, and you'd go up there and like some nights would feel like just like a regular room. But other times, I'm up there and I just got the damn little circle of light from my flashlight. And like, I would see shadows kind of like zip behind like corners and stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you would just feel like this presence behind you, man. It was creepy. And the only reason why I mentioned that is because, again, some days you'd go up there in the night and you're like, "Oh, this is fine. There's nobody here." And then you'd go up there again that same night and it'd be like, "Fuck. There's something here. There's something here.
I don't like it.
I don't like it this time." Yeah.
This run for maraschino cherries is scary.
Yeah.
So, and then I've seen glassware fly off the shelves of that fucking place.
Oh.
And the way I knew that it was him is because like there was a top shelf, like we would kind of keep our extra glasses. And I demonstrated this a lot to my customers where like I'd stomp around the bar. I'm like, "Just look at these glasses and how they don't move." Right. And I'm like slamming the back bar. I'm slamming the damn shelf. These fucking glasses aren't moving. And the fact that it will fall from like 3 shelves up, and it doesn't just like, if it's just vibration from like say the band or like noise, it would happen more often. And it would, trickle and hit the back bar and then maybe the floor. That it's all hardwood.
But not be pushed.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's pushed, it hits hardwood flooring and doesn't break.
Cool.
Like,
Damn.
that's how I know it's him.
Ghost cushion.
Yeah. He just puts it down on there.
It's also my
New band name, I call it Ghost Cushion.
I was gonna say it's a porno, but that's fine too.
And then I even demonstrated one time, and I just like I popped the glass off the fucking shelf and it shatters on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm like, see?
So I'm not crazy smashing glass.
Your manager comes around the corner. What are you doing? Nothing. Just proving my theory right. That's all.
Bar back! Dude, what the fuck? Hey, I had to do it, so now you have to do it.
See, at first I was thinking like this is just rats. Because if you're thinking like zooming around, old building, no lighting, I'm thinking a lot of rats.
Yep.
But the thing that it's not breaking on the floor, unless rats can control the ground. I don't know.
We don't really know what rats are capable of.
I mean, yeah.
if we want to get into the nitty gritty.
But again, even if a rat would to knock it off, it wouldn't come out from the shelf. It would
You don't know that.
topple. I do know that.
I'm picturing.
I was there.
I'm picturing a little mouse door that they open up, and one of them backs up, gets a running start. He's like, "Hey, watch this! I'm gonna fuck with that guy." He like sprints and does like a double drop kick like into the thing, so it shoots out straight, and it somehow doesn't break. And you're like, "I knew it was a ghost." And he's like, "Squeak, squeak, squeak, squeak." Got him.
Now, one time, so those times we would keep like extra wine glasses, and then we started doing brunch, and we swapped them out and put like these these big pint glasses that we would use for this giant fucking Bloody Mary for brunch, right? And one day, my bar back, he's like restocking the beers on the shelf below, and this goddamn Stein glass falls and like slams the fruit bowl and the fucking like salt caddy and shatters the salt caddy right above my bar back, and like, the fucking like like in the cartoons when like you like hit somebody over the head like and like your whole body vibrates.
Yeah.
And, like, just like that. This guy's soul left his body. 5 seconds. I'll never forget that day. Like this time, I mean, it's a big heavy Stein glass. It didn't make it to the floor. It made it to the back bar. But seeing that poor guy just
fucking take it straight to the dome.
Just rattled. It didn't hit him in the head, but it hit so close that I would have shat my pants.
Yeah.
I gotta go home now.
I would have shat my pants and I would have left. And I would have never came back.
Well, I have to quit.
But
Just in the next interview, like, why'd you quit your last job?
and then like it pans back to you. It's that scene from Insidious with the red guy face behind you. But besides that, like I've seen doors open and close by themselves. The one video evidence that I saw, my manager David Wildman, or the owner of the place, had put this binder down, walks 2 tables over, and the binder just goes just off of the table. Like somebody was sitting there, like, why the fuck did you put that there? And just
That's not my newspaper.
yeah. So just to wrap it all up, that place is fucking creepy. I don't work there now. I love you. I'll miss you. But I'm off to bigger and better things, y'all.
So do you think
Nice.
it's haunted plus rats?
No rats. I've never seen rats. I've never seen cockroaches. That place, I don't know how.
You don't work there anymore. You don't have to say that.
No, I'll be quite honest. I never saw any varmints or critters.
Okay.
That's
Besides the clientele.
But to be
I will say this.
I mean, yes.
In old buildings, they're full of cockroaches.
I mean, we
fucking
worked at
mice,
Merchants, and that place was
gross as hell.
There were so many that we would call them ninjas because
We couldn't talk about it in front of guests.
about cockroaches in front of guests.
Stop.
Right?
Ninja.
Yeah. I remember one time Gil was just like leaning up against the wall. He's got like a linen in his hand. And I'm like, what do you do? He's like, just chilling. Dude, those things,
Like he has to cover his hand to lean on that. That's funny.
it's just smothering a cockroach.
Well, we had a GM. His name was Jimmy. One time, like I was talking to him, and he was leaning close to the wall.
Yeah.
And then he sticks his foot up and puts his shoe on the wall, and I'm like, Jimmy, like, old move. Like, I know you're the GM, and he's like, don't say anything. And I was like, what? He's like, don't say anything. Wait till the guests leave. And then a guest leaves because they were like in earshot, and he like lifted his foot, and there was a huge cockroach under it.
Dude, those things would fall from the fucking ceiling. Like,
No.
dude,
No, thank you.
I was working the bar once.
Did you ever see it fall in someone's drink? I have.
Not in the street.
And like I grabbed the drink. I was like, sorry, I saw something in it. Just like, this is on me. I'll make a new one.
No, you didn't.
I had to be smooth about it because like I was talking to somebody and the fucking thing like falls right next to the person. I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, steak salad, it's great, great steak. You want medium rare, great.
But yeah, for a building that's so close to the river to be that old and to not have any critters, no rats, no mice, or nothing, I'm gonna go with haunted.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
the fucking, I mean, the whole alley around it, there's rats and everything.
Yeah.
Like if you walk down behind, like, is
I
that
feel
Sam?
a presence,
Sam.
but I can't. I
Well,
can't
if
turn
you
around
walked-
and break the podcast mojo.
Like we would. Oh, thanks, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to finish up.
All right.
But like you go out to the dumpster. I mean, there's fucking rats running into the dumpster. There's rats running out of the dumpster. You go down the other part of the alleyway. I mean, like they're fucking everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, but not in there. And I don't know how the fuck they do it.
Interesting.
So ghosts repel varmints.
I would imagine that a man who was so prideful in his bar, David Schulman, is haunting
That's
the
what I'm saying.
place.
Yeah,
is
he probably
probably
is
keeping him out.
Keep it
So don't hire the lesson for this episode of Murder Schmurders. Don't hire pest control. Find a persnickety old man, kill them in your house, and they will keep away pests.
that's smart.
Yeah.
But it's got to be owned by the persnickety man.
Yeah, find a way, title transfer, kill him. You're his beneficiary.
Yeah.
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 But make him not believe that you killed him,
Right.
so he doesn't haunt you.
Make him
Right.
think that the rats and mosquitoes killed him.
I was gonna say because that could go either way. It's like either he repels the rats or he fucking
repels
gets
you.
them- he gets them right back in.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my god, could you imagine a ghost just like
Just
conjuring fucking army of rats and mosquitoes?
Just kill me, bro.
It's like
That's
the
fine.
fucking mummy.
I'll be fine to die. It's
by the way-
okay to
Oh,
die.
but like the scarab things that crawl under your skin, but it's
I recently watched Mummy and The Mummy Returns.
It slaps.
They're still
slaps.
so good.
So much slap.
Hard.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap this bitch up.
Anyways, that's it. I'm Austin. It's my birthday, and I'll just say thank y'all. It's been a great day.
It's been a great time. Thanks for.
This is Jamie, and I'm actually kind of surprised Austin didn't say anything more offensive.
No,
I don't think the bar got lowered one time, and on your birthday episode.
can I say the N word?
This is Joseph. Thanks for listening. We're gonna cut the mics on everybody.
And I'm Grant. Very good job, Austin. That was very entertaining.
Thank you, great. You are a nice guy.
That feels like a natural endpoint.
Well, see you later.
Okay, bye.
Adios.
Like what you hear? Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Trashville_USA. And if there's a true crime story you want the gang to cover, email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com. Murder Schmurder is produced by Jamie. Our tracking engineer is Grant. And our mix and mastering engineer is Julie. Incidental music and our theme song is provided by Jules. This has been another production of Murder Schmurder.